the same thing with the governor, the president, right? So they have to go through, except, of course, the bill that is in the National Assembly would become a law. They would have to go through a political party. And for the past few days, there is this report of a court ruling dissolving a PDP Exco responsible for the nomination of our present governor. And so you see, it behoves on me to have a conversation so that we can talk for the development of our dear state. On that note, I welcome you to the 5 o'clock hour on Hard Facts. I am Kalada Kurubatubo, and I've got a guest in the studio. I've got Choko Choma, Esquire. You're looking like a Rivers man this evening. You're looking sharp.
Of course, I will always have to represent my state. Good afternoon, Canada.
Good afternoon. You know what they say? Your shoe shine. Your face show your shoe shine. Welcome on the show.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
All right, so let's get into the meat of our conversation. So, as reported on Vanguard over the weekend, I'm just going to do a quick read of what that article was trying to say. Just give me a minute there. I do not know if the internet network in Nigeria has now been affected by the fuel, but there was a slight delay there. So, yeah, according to the Vanguard on the 27th of May, that's on Saturday, it captioned the article like this: Fubara, court dissolves parallel PDP Exco in Rivers State. So I decided to read, like every other person who must have seen that headline. Now, it said, in a landmark ruling, Abuja High Court has dissolved the parallel executive committees of the People's Democratic Party in Rivers State. The court declared that the ESCOs responsible for nominating Siminalayi Fubara as the party's governorship candidate in the primary were not the authentic ESCOs recognized by the Independent National Electoral Commission. The case with suit number, I'm going to leave that for the lawyers, was brought before the court by representing of the genuine state executive committee members of the Rivers PDP. Now, the defendants named the case and INEC. You would recall that this season there was the would I call it between Rivers PDP and PDP at the national, because the then governor argued that it was time for Southern presidency. And since the PDP decided to go for Northern presidency, it caused a bit of a rift, and it gave birth to the G5, if you remember them, the G5. I miss those guys, I should say. All right, so it caused a rift, and we then saw the outgone governor of Rivers State supporting the emergence of Bola Tinubu as president. And, we did our own in-house research, and this is the story. So, a Port Harcourt-based lawyer, Vincent Chiku, says the court document which dissolved the Desmond Akawol-led ESCO of Rivers PDP shows that it is a pre-election matter. Yes. Barrister Chiku spoke with correspondent Ibi Ruwari shortly after an online platform report of an Abuja High Court dissolving the executive of the PDP in Rivers State. The lawyer also spoke about the authenticity of the court documents. The Desmond Akawol-led PDP executive in Rivers State is yet to speak about the High Court dissolving it. As you may know, 2 court documents surfaced online over the weekend showing the lawsuit challenging the authenticity in the state. The documents with suit number, yet again I'm going to skip it, had Chibinko Akarolo and Abiye Davis representing the genuine state executive committee members of the PDP in the state. The 2 court documents, an originating summons and a motion on notice for interlocutory injunction, have the defendants as the PDP, its chairman in Rivers State Desmond Akawo and Dr. Benibo George. The 2 court documents accuse the defendants of falsely presenting themselves as legitimate representatives of the PDP to INEC. Many believe that if the PDP executives responsible for Governor Fubara's nomination during the elections were indeed not the authentic representatives recognized by INEC, his candidacy could be considered illegitimate. Others say the situation could potentially lead to legal disputes and a reevaluation of the governor's term in office. And that's why I've got Joko Chama in the studio, because I want to understand the legal implications that is before or that are before us. Welcome once again on the show.
Thank you, my dear brother Kalada.
So you've read all the things I've read out on the show. Let's begin to hear your thoughts.
I think I want to say that ordinarily, as a lawyer, if I speak for those of them who are familiar with the name Choma Choko, some persons may understand it from different perspectives, because if I also want to analyze it, I may want to two different lines. But particularly because I'm seated here as a counsel, as a lawyer, I may want to the one which I choose to be in the best interest of the state, which is speaking as a lawyer and not as a member of any of the political parties. I belong to the political party Accord. But the point remains that in their times like this, one will always be tempted to speak in nothing but the truth to the people. Because at this material time, the people expect to hear nothing but the truth. You see, just like I've listened to you carefully in course of your reading this particular article, there was something that you were skipping, which is very germane, significant to the analysis.
The suit number.
Which is
I said I was going to leave it for you.
No, you okay.
That's what I said.
Okay, thank God I'm actually picking on it first.
Yeah.
When I looked at that document, the first thing I looked at was the suit number. Because it is from there that lawyers understand the originality, the authenticity, the potency of a document that is emanating from courts. Let's say we have a uniform method of identifying our cases. Yes. Yeah. Let's say, for instance, Port Harcourt will always go by PHC. You understand, whether the Federal High Court or it directs the mind of the appellate court where that particular court process is emanating from. Abuja will go by ABJ. Imo will go by IMC or whatever. You understand, IM. Kano will go by KN, just like that. But my worry is, I looked at the suit number. It goes with something like W.
Yeah, W.
So I questioned the originality of that document.
So where's W? Is there any?
Is it Western? Do we have anything like West? I don't understand. I know that there is no state that is starting with W. We have A, we have B, Bauchi and all that. I'm yet to acquaint myself with a state that is beginning with W.
Yeah.
But let us even throw away the relevance, the importance, the significance of the suit number, and look at, just like you've rightly described, the meat, the substance, and not the form of the issue that is raised. Now, the issue that is raised is the legal effect on the governor of Rivers State as of today. Because as at the time that judgment was delivered, he was then the governor-elect. And I want to tell you, without mixing words, that document, even though I'm not a member of their political party, is of no moment.
Interesting.
Yes, I will tell you it's of no moment. Because thank God you listened from another lawyer, or you read from another opinion of another lawyer. I didn't know another lawyer had actually given a view on that, because that was actually my view. And I will hold it in very strong terms. The point is, Section 285 of the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria has enunciated the conditions, or as a matter of fact, the period of time within which pre-election matters could be filed in court. Look at the matter that was brought before the court. It has nothing to do with the conduct of the election of Nominating Gov Fubara. What that document questions, or what that decision ruled on, was on the outcome or the legitimacy of the leadership of the members of the PDP or the executive members of the PDP. Now, automatically, that makes it a pre-election matter.
Okay.
Are you get what I'm saying?
I'm listening.
Now, if you look at it, what does the Constitution stipulate? Those matters must have been determined before the conduct of the general election.
So what if I initiated? I'm the aggrieved person, and I initiated the suit before the election, and then I'm getting my judgment now.
Now, let me tell you. Two conditions, let me tell you. Now, that action, for it to be legitimate, if we have a case which is a ground norm, the foundation upon which the court must consider every case that is brought before her. And that case, because you're not a lawyer, and all those who are listening to us are not lawyers, so I'm actually finding it difficult to fit in.
No, try us. We are intelligent people. Try us.
The point is, if you look at the case of, which is the locus classicus case of jurisdiction of a court in Kendele versus Madikolo, the court was explicit in that decision. The court said for a court to assume jurisdiction, 3 basic conditions, which ordinarily is 5, must be met by the court. 1, the formation of the court. That is, if a court, for instance, is said to have 3 persons that are to sit in a particular matter, if one person is not there, which is a justice or a judge, then that court lacks jurisdiction.
Okay.
The nature of the matter, territorial jurisdiction, and several other issues that are enumerated by that. Now, you look at it, one very issue that is touching on that article or the decision of the court is that the matter that was brought before the court must be such that is within, contemplated or stipulated within the law. Now, if you look at it, did that action meet the requirement of the law that says where such actions, where such a person or any person feels aggrieved, you have 14 days to project your actions or express your grievances in court within 14 days to sue the person whom you feel has actually offended you. You have 14 days. Look at that action. It was not taken to court within 14 days. Now, election matters and pre-election matters are what we consider sui generis, which is of special class. Once those actions are brought before the court, let us say pre-election matters, look at all of them that were brought to the court before the elections. All of them were determined at the Federal High Court. Of course, we were hearing the decisions where they say you conducted the elections outside the stipulation of electoral act that says submit members of names of your members of your political parties form before 30 days or within 30 days before the conduct of the primaries and all that. All those issues were determined before the conduct of the general election, because the court will always say these are pre-election matters. Every other election that are brought before the court will be placed in abeyance pending the determination of those matters that are considered in the class of sui generis, which is of special class. Now, this action or this suit that was filed or determined just some days into the inauguration was not determined before that election.
Okay.
And if you look at it very well, if anybody, which the likes of my boss, Chief Dumolulu Briggs, and the APC candidate, I've forgotten his name, Tonyeko and all that, have gone to court to contest. They did not go there to contest pre-election matters, because the Constitution has also made it clear. The Electoral Act is clear on that. If you look at Section 314 of the Electoral Act, what does it say? There are 3 conditions upon which the election of a person can be questioned. 1, the qualification of the person, that the election was marred with irregularities and corruption. And then, which is the last one, that the person did not secure the majority vote. These are the 3 grounds upon which the election, the outcome of election, can be questioned in court.
Okay.
Yes.
We've got a commercial break coming up in a bit, in a few seconds. But there's something in my head that you would remember the case that emanated from a Kano High Court that was said to have, nullified not just OTs, but other Labour Party candidates in, I think, Kano State as well. Yes, after the break, we'll come back to that, because I believe that was also a pre-election matter. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we'll put that side by side with what you have just mentioned. All right, we'll be right back. Do stay tuned. Hard Facts continue after the commercial break.
Info.
And now, hard facts on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Indeed, Hard Facts continues right about now. And I've been speaking with Choma Choko, and I am Kalada Kurubatibo, and we've been talking about a reported court ruling that has nullified the ESCO in the PDP and River State that nominated the current governor as the flag bearer for the PDP. And my guest has been telling me that there are certain discrepancies with that court ruling. First of all, he mentioned the suit number. Then he said it's a pre-election matter, and so it does not have any legitimacy at this point, because he has given us reasons as to why or when pre-election matters should be handled. But I was going to ask him a question, because just when INEC announced Alex Oti as winner of Abia State governorship election, we saw yet again another ruling from Kano State High Court that did say that all the people in Labour Party that ran for the election in Kano State, and I think also in Abia State, I stand to be corrected, that their candidacy were nullified. So was that also not a pre-election matter?
Well, let me say that it was a pre-election matter.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing you have to understand is that, rightly or wrongly, people must go to court.
Okay.
And the outcome of the decision of the court is what will determine the efficacy of any action that is being brought before the court. Am I right?
Yeah, true.
But let me also say that, yes, in one way or the other, the court made or gave a decision to the effect that the elections or the vote of Alex Oti is a waste. That was what the language of the court. But you recall that the court was careful enough not to go into declarations or making declarations with respect to the certificate which has been issued to Alex Oti.
So what comes of such a judgment?
Now, let me tell you, in one of the decisions in complete communication case versus no, the Supreme Court was careful enough to say that they are not finals because they are infallible, but they are infallible because they are finals. What does it ordinarily mean? Supreme Court at that level makes mistake. The customary court at its own level makes mistakes.
Okay.
Just like human beings, we are subject to human mistakes. The court in Kano cannot be exculpated from human mistake. The court in Kano cannot be immune from human mistakes. So it could be, I am not saying that decision was done in error, but I want to say in my very succinct opinion that with all due respect to that court, the court was careless.
Okay.
The court did not avert her mind to certain provisions of the law. And you look at it very well. Of what moment was that decision? Has it not been rendered the nullity by the inauguration of Saturday?
Okay. All right. We'll get back. I mean, lawyers and anyways, we'll get back to that. There is the headline news up next, so please stay tuned. All right, so sorry, we had to go for the headline news. But if you're listening, you can begin dropping your comments. The comment section of our live stream on Facebook, Nigeria Info PH. We're also active on Twitter and on YouTube, Nigeria Info PH as well. All right, you can also start sending your WhatsApp and text messages to the number 0809 0306 And of course, we're talking about the rumored court ruling from Abuja High Court saying that the Exco of Desmond Akawo that nominated our current governor in Rivers State should not have been the Exco and not recognized by INEC. And it's been talked about. It's been, people have been what's happening, and I thought it wise to bring Chioma Chukwu Esquire to come into the studio and explain to us and to clear all of our doubts. So the next question I want to ask now is, so now that you have said that even if there is a judgment of that nature, it is of nullity, I'm guessing the governor and the PDP in Rivers State, they have not interfered.
Let me, you see, just like your question rightly posed, you see, there is a way the judgment of the court works. And I think people should begin to understand it from this perspective. It is not a miracle from God.
Okay.
You understand? The decision of the court cannot be binding on a person who is not made a party before it. Look at the entirety of that process. Similaye Fubara was not a party in this suit.
Interesting.
So can you now say, the decision of this court is just like me if I'm in UK, for instance, an action is commenced against me? Or let me even say, let me not travel all the way to UK. I'm in Nigeria. And you know that if, assuming the target of that process or that suit is me, and you know that the only way for which you can give effect to the decision of the court, if reached in your favor, is by making me a party. Even the court allows us that at the center, before the decision of the court is reached, invite those persons to come and answer to the questions. So assuming you filed your suit, because that suit, you've seen that, yes, Similaye Fubara had been declared the governor of Rivers State elect. Within that period, and within the period the decision of the court was yet to be made, you would have brought an action, a motion before the court to say, join Similaye Fubara because the fruit of this decision will affect him. You did not. You sat in your comfort zone and relaxed until the decision of the court is, assuming even the court is of a great moment, of what effect will it be on the governor who was not a party? So that's the much the decision of the court can do is to declare that the leadership of these persons or the executive of the PDP, it's gone. So even if it goes at this material time, the person whom the PDP targeted or had in mind to become their governor is there as their governor. It will do him no harm. So
as someone who has played politics in Rivers State, I'm guessing the person who tried to politicize, the whole
scenario,
the whole process, with this suit,
the former governor. Okay,
not the former. I'm talking about the people who instituted the suit, if it is even legitimate, if it's a real suit. The politics they try to play is of no effect. It's child's play.
No, of course, it's of no effect. It's of no moment. I will tell you, they have the opportunity to go to court. That is right. They've been able to exercise that right by instituting the action at the Abuja High Court and all that. But then the right things were not done.
Okay.
And just like I said, the decisions of the court cannot just be awarded to unmerited persons.
All right, let's open the phone lines and let's get to hear from you. What you think about all of these issues that we've raised on the show? And you see, it's good to have professionals, and they get to tutor us, they get to teach us, they get to tell us what the real deal is. First of all, I've now learned to understand, because I always keep suit number when I get to see it, because I don't understand what it is. I always skip it. And now I understand if I see
and if you watch very carefully, that did not also capture the year. So apart from the suit number, which goes on the numbering with respect to this, a mere distraction to the state.
Okay, a mere distraction. But what do you make of this mere distraction? And recently, we've been talking about fake news trending every now and then, and this could be one of it.
Of course, and let me even say that, apart from not even joining him, the court did not make any decision with respect to his certificate of return, which was issued by INEC. Because any decision that will be made now, let's say, for instance, like my boss had gone to court to challenge that election, he is challenging on the grounds that are stipulated in Section 134 of the Electoral Act. So if any of that grounds you qualify by the grace of God, the court will make a declaration restraining him from parading himself as a governor. So that order was not even made.
All right. So the numbers to call 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. Text messages, WhatsApp messages to the number 0809-0306416. We're live on Facebook, Nigeria Info PH. Drop your comments, the comment section of the live stream. I've got Dakuku calling from HA. Dakuku, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Nigeria Info.
Yeah, good evening to you. Welcome.
I did Dakuku from Aboketi. I want to ask you again a question.
Go ahead.
The decision of High Court in Abuja, given that the delegate of PDP in Rivers State is not constitutionally, what will be the next action of the party to be taken, and the action of the party over the evaluating and the members of the party who are elected under the platform of PDP? What will be the next thing over them and their hope as they have been notified the Congress?
Okay, that's actually a good question. Should I respond?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, it's actually a good question in the sense that, rightly or wrongly, whatever the decision of the court is, it is presumed that that decision is right and should be respected. Look at the step that was taken by Abia State or Governor Oti, as a matter of fact. Even though he was not a party, what he did was to seek the leave of court to join as a party in that suit and then to appeal. You understand? Now, what I would expect the governor of Rivers State to do at this material time, of course he has experts who are also advising him, is not to allow that judgment to lie low, because it could cause an uproar tomorrow, is to file for leave to allow him to appeal that decision,
because there's a time limit for which you can appeal, right?
Of course, even that can be extended.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
Yes.
All right, so we've got another call coming. Shortly I would attend to that call, but I want to go back to the way the news was written in our bulletin. And I want to see if... Okay, so you mentioned that there was no year, but actually in our bulletin, the suit numbers W/6084/2023 and M/9562/2023. It doesn't make sense to you?
Okay, for me, the W is where I have issue now, but the 2023 is right. But you also have to know that even if it is 2023 suit, it has been overtaken by a lot of events, not just one.
All right then. JJ from Umokoro. JJ, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, Kalada.
You're welcome.
Let me greet your guest in the studio and say congratulations to him.
Thank you, sir.
You said he's looking good. I know why.
We all know why. But
Jay, they don't go far, please.
You know, when status change, something can happen very fast. But that said, I think this appeal we're talking about now, like that of Abia State, they established that a court in Kano was the one that gave that judgment. But if you search around, like you rightly said, what is W? Is it West African Court or Hague, or I don't know what W stands for. So in the first place, as a lawyer, he's not been able to even establish which court in Abuja. I don't know if you understand. So it shows that this whole thing is just the figment of imagination of people just brought Oluwole in and they want people to begin to panic. So for me, I don't know whether they will start searching the court that starts with W, or maybe they Google to know the suit number if it rhymes with anything. If not, it's just a white good shield that doesn't, how will I put it now, exist anywhere. And it's so unfortunate for those who are coming to claim this whole thing. Maybe those people whose name appear on that thing to be claimants should also be arrested. Maybe look for them, declare them wanted, get them arrested.
Why would you arrest them?
So that they can prove that they are not the owners of these documents, or this document doesn't emanate from them. Because I don't even know what they ought to do right now. But please arrest them and see how they can prove who sent them. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is that legal?
No, the point is there is a way for which anybody who intends to find that could do that.
Yeah.
It's, of course, we know it is possible that any of these courts in Abuja could have that numbering. You understand? So make your application application for the CTC of the judgment.
All right.
If all the courts in Nigeria reject the application, because of course, similarly, Fubara has the money to make application to any court, from Supreme Court to all the 36 states. So you can possibly make applications to the 36 registrars to find out whether there is any place such decision was actually made against you or your party.
All right, we've got Rufus calling from Peter Alderley Road or Alderley Road. Rufus, good evening to you.
Yes, good evening, my brother Calendar.
Yeah, welcome.
Now, I'm a colleague to your guest, and I don't want to believe that some of the things he's saying is actually saying them intentionally.
Please turn off your radio set. When you say you are a colleague, you're trying to say you're a lawyer.
Yes.
I'm a lawyer, sir.
Okay,
Yes, go
all
ahead.
right. So let's hear your own take. A third opinion would not be
Now,
bad.
if you look at the motion on notice, you see that there is an order and a rule of the court, meaning that matter was filed in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja Division. Now, when we talk about the suit number, I'm very sure my learned friend here will agree with me that he doesn't have knowledge of all the suit numbers in Nigeria. Now, saying that the matter is a pre-election matter, it is not also totally correct, because if you check that process, the process says that the people that nominated things are factional. So they are not talking about whether or not thing was contested election or won. They are after the fact, they are after the people that nominated him. And also saying that the effect of that court order, Sim was not a party, is not also correct. Sim is a beneficiary of a fractional party, Exco members. So as a beneficiary, in law, we know that you can't place something on nothing. Sim did not emanate as an independent candidate. It emanated as a member, as a candidate of a political party. And now that the foundation is faulty, where will Sim stand if the wind goes beyond this? You agree with me, he has nowhere to stand. So my learned friend, colleague there, that is telling you that Sim will benefit or it will affect him or it won't affect him, is not totally correct.
All
and
right.
I stand to be corrected that to say that this matter is not a pre-election matter, but it is a matter that borders on two factions, whether or not the right faction was what produced him.
All right.
Okay, just be there. Don't go.
Okay, I'm just
Yes.
okay.
Just be there. As soon as you finish, I will
to-
address you on
I'm
all the
letting
issues
it to
you've
lawyer.
raised.
No,
Yes.
I think he's done, so you can address him.
Okay,
now.
are you done?
No, I wanted. You wanted to ask question.
No,
if you're done, I will address you.
He wants to react to what you've said.
Yes.
Okay, so finally, sir, if you look at the suit number, it has a year, like he rightly stated, there is no year in that suit.
No,
Now,
it has
like,
a
as
year.
I'm talking to you, I printed that document the first day I saw it. If you look at it, it has costing on it. Like I'm talking about the motion now. It has costing, and it has claimants, and these claimants are known to even your guests in the studio. Who doesn't know Chimbika Karolo, the former mayor of Port Harcourt? Who doesn't know Adie Davis, the former chairman of Degema? No,
Okay.
now let's
Now you have made your
No.
point.
Yes.
Let's hear my guess now, please.
Okay. I actually asked him not to drop his call,
Well,
but
go ahead.
unfortunately,
Well, go ahead.
Leonard friend, I think I will be happy if you also enjoy some fraction of patience to listen to me to clear your doubts. Now, in the first place, one of the issues you raised is that I clearly stated that the suit number is not correct. You and I know that the numbering in courts has something to do. It has an attachment with each of the states, and that of the FCT, which is Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, carries ABJ.
So
you will agree with me.
if it is not a
In that form, it has something to be questioned. But rather, I also pushed ahead to say, rather than sleeping over the decision of the court, I just said it now, that similarly Fubara, whom I'm not holding brief for, because he's not my friend, can as well make an application to find out the authenticity of that suit in all the 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT.
You mentioned
that he has the capacity financially to make these applications in order to be sure whether this decision was actually reached against him or not. I did say that. That is that on that, and I believe you must agree with me too. Secondly, he said that it is not a pre-election matter. I am taken aback. What is pre-election matter and what is post-election matter? I may not know his age at the bar, but in all sincerity, pre-election matters are actions that are taken, events that occurred before the conduct of an election. Whereas post-election matters are those actions that commence from the 28th day of February 2023.
That's after the election.
After the conduct of that election. Any other action that will be brought to court must be considered a post-election matter. Now, if we bring an action which has occurred.
Sorry, let me pause you there. So you're saying even if it's a state matter, once it's after the presidential election, it's
no. I'm coming. If it's a state matter, then it commences from, is it 5th of March or 15th of March when that election was conducted?
Yeah.
So that is where it is. So I think he did not understand that context. That is the mistake he's actually making. Now look at it very well. What was questioned was the executive body. The enthronement of the leadership of PDP was what was questioned, and not even the legitimacy of his nomination. These are two different issues.
But he has a fair argument. If you say this ESCO is illegitimate, then it means whatever they have done is also null and void.
And that makes that action a pre-election matter, because it was done before the conduct of the election that declared him governor-elect. So if there is any action that should have been commenced, it should have been commenced within 14 days as is contemplated by section 285 of the Constitution. But I think I have another point which he also made. He said SIM is not a party that is a beneficiary of it. Bro and cancer, sorry if I use a foul language. The point is, the decisions of the court are only binding to parties in that suit. The best you can do is that if you feel that you will be touched by the decision of the court, you bring an application, a leave to be joined or made a party. All
right. That's too much we can take. I mean, we've got to go. Thank you very much, Chomachukwu Esquire. It's always a pleasure having you in the studio.
Thank you. I wish to have him some other time too.
All right, no problem then.
Yes.
See, the lawyers want to take over my show. And that's too much we can take. We've got the commercial break coming up. Major news coming your way by 6. After that, the open season. We'll talk about this and every other issue we have raised on the show. I am Kalada. Do stay tuned to 92.3 Nigeria Info.